George. You for Canada is a part of if you can't access, you can't access it, you
Huh?
25 years. The Young African Women's Congress Network, therefore, is an appropriate initiative that situates in that specific demography. The First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, you have been a trailblazer and a campaigner of no mean stature within the context of empowering women and girls. And what we are about to witness today is a testament to your phenomenal work and role in empowering women and girls, not just in Sierra Leone, but in the sub-region and across our 1.3 billion people in Africa. On this note, may I most respectfully, with your kind indulgence, Madam First Lady, invite for the official welcome the President of York Network Sierra Leone, Michaela Kabo.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Fatima Madabiu, Chief of Staff of the Office of the First Lady, Sheikh Salim Feka, Executive Chairperson of the Young African Women Congress, Mr. Daniel Usai Tufo, York Network Chapter President for Nigeria, Dr. Eunice Emmanuel, Press Secretary, colleague executive members, and members of the Young African Women Congress Sierra Leone Chapter, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a delightful moment to be here this morning as partners, that is the Office of the First Lady and the Young African Women Congress, to declare our intention to host the Young African Women Congress 2023 Annual Continental Convocation, which is an initiative of the Young African Women Congress Network. It is important that I give the background about the York Network. The Young African Women Congress Network is a fraternity of young women of African descent living in Africa and the diaspora who seek to be empowered and be themselves change makers for leadership and development on the continent of Africa. Membership of the network is segmented by chapters based on country demarcations. However, there is a common goal which involves grassroots mobilization of women for leadership and development through advocacy, training, and projects. The headquarters of the network is in Accra, Ghana, and there are currently 8 operational chapters on the continent, namely Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, Cameroon, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Kenya. There are currently 4 chapters that will be inaugurated soon. They include 2 diasporan chapters in the United Kingdom and 3 other Scandinavian countries, precisely Norway, Denmark, Sweden, coming together to form a chapter. The other 2 are Gambia and Zambia. The vision of York Network is to connect all young women of Africa and the diaspora to a common platform for intellectual discourse, knowledge sharing for women's development, and a better continent geared towards political and socio-economic development. Our mission as a network includes to empower women in a more collaborative approach, to promote grassroots mobilization for the young women's leadership in Africa, to create support system for women to thrive and advance their endeavors, to serve as an advocacy platform for women and girls on issues that borders on women development. York Network is strictly apolitical, strictly women, non-partisan, non-racial, and non-religious. York Network activities encompass meet and greets, summits, master classes, volunteering programs, community development projects, leadership trainings, mentorship, and other programs in line with the network's objective and purposes. There are 2 annual conventions of the York Network that brings together women all from countries on the African continent and the diaspora to advance the sustainable development goal 5. Impacts made so far. The York Network has successfully held a continental campaign against rape and defilement, where perpetrators were brought to book and counseling and rehabilitation sessions were provided for victims during the COVID-19 in 2020. The Ghana chapter followed up 17 cases, while the other chapters followed up a minimum of 2 cases each. Beyond bringing perpetrators to book, the social media campaign reached over 50 million people across the African continent. This was a unified campaign led by the Global Secretariat of the network, and it was partnered by Star Ghana, iGrade Africa, and Economic Fighters League. Other results achieved through the campaign includes adding our voice to bring justice to the rapists who defied the 5-year-old Khadija Medinatu Sanko to death in Sierra Leone in June of 2020, and 22-year-old Vera, a Nigerian student who was brutally raped and killed in a church premise in Nigeria. That was in 2020. Since 2016, over 2,000 women have been empowered directly through the annual convocations. Due to the grassroots empowerment train approach used by the network, where participants of the convocation are expected to empower women in their communities through community-based projects, over 300 women have been empowered at the grassroots level across Africa. All chapters have held series of outreach programs in prisons, orphanages, deprived communities, senior high schools, conflict-prone zones, etc. The activities that were carried out include health screening exercises, donations, counseling, mentorship, rehabilitation exercises, sensitization, etc. Over 15,000 people have benefited from our outreach programs across Africa. The network has successfully run masterclass sessions for its members that has built their capacities in their various fields of endeavor. Some of the members have been rescued from ailment situations, including depression, abusive relationships, financial difficulties, through the counseling programs that are run for them. Due to the persistent motivation by the network, many of our members have progressed higher in their career and education. We have some of our members elected and appointed to top political positions in their countries, promoted to higher ranks in their career, and others attain higher education qualifications, including professional certificates like law, engineering, PhDs, etc. we believe that this partnership will go a long way to inspire progress in the Sierra Leonean women and the African women at large. On this note, I welcome you all to this ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Michaela Cabo, for providing those very key highlights. So for those of us who may not have known anything about York, now we are beginning to have an appreciation. The president of York Network Nigeria will now make a statement, and it's my honor to invite Dr. Yunaisi Emmanuel to make a statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, ma'am, the First Lady of Sierra Leone, Dr. Fatima Madabayo, dear Madam, the Chief of Staff to the First Lady, thank you so much, and Executive Chairperson of York, and both Dr. Daniel Osei Tufo, my colleague, the Chapter President of York Network in Liberia, and every other of my members, the members of the press, and every other government members here. I welcome you all. My name is Dr. Yunaisi Emmanuel. I bring you greetings from Nigeria. Young African Women Network is an organization that focuses on, the activities focuses on consolidates the development of the nations where all her members are, particularly in Nigeria. I was a young lady passionate for change, or I didn't really have the bearing. I don't know how to go about it. But since I joined Young African Women Congress Network, it helped me to build capacity to make significant change in my country. And every other countries where we have our members, we are all making significant change. A lot of our members are carrying out community-based change projects, and it has affected a lot of people. Also, particularly some of our young aspirant women, individual women that have political aspirations, have a clearer vision on how they can make significant impact in the community growth. And I strongly believe now that a partnership of Young African Women Congress Network with the government of Sierra Leone will enhance the development of this country and also broaden the aspiration of young individual women to be able to do bigger projects and also build synergy together, network together, and see how they can achieve their dreams. Thank you so very much for this partnership, ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yunaisi Emmanuel, for your kind sentiments. Ladies and gentlemen, I am equally honored and privileged to invite the Executive Chairperson of York Network, Mr. Daniel Osei Tufo, to make a statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Dr. Fatima Madabayo, the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Ministers of State herein gathered, the Press Secretary, leaders of the York Network chapters who are here this morning, and members of the Network Sierra Leone chapter, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, it's my singular honor to be with you here all the way from Accra, the capital city of Ghana. It is a great opportunity to always highlight our voices when it comes to women's progress and development. In the year 2020, before the lockdown was declared, I had the privilege to travel to Sierra Leone to carry out our chapter's activity here. with the team on ground. I was hosted by the then chapter president, Naime, in Port Loko. Now, during our rounds in town, engaging people and carrying out a series of activities, I chanced on a very big billboard, and I saw a very gorgeous, the finest woman on that billboard. And what actually caught my attention was the tagline, or what others call hashtag, hands off our girls. I then asked the chapter president at that time that, what is this about? She told me that this is a campaign that is being carried out by the First Lady of the country. I inquired further to know the details of the campaign. She told me that the campaign is against child marriage, rape, defilement, and what have you. I was very thrilled because, yes, I see many First Ladies of different countries carry out one project or the other. But I had not really seen a campaign that is being fronted by the First Lady of a country in that manner, that she put her face on billboard. And not just at one point, just in Port Loko, I counted about 7 of them, just at the catchment areas that I happen to operate in. I told the president that you have a great First Lady who is very genuine about women's empowerment. It is not just about paying lip service just to enhance the political fortunes of the husband, but you can feel realness in her actions. As a network, we decided to follow her activities. We read about her. We saw a number of her exploits at the General Assembly of the United Nations. We then came to the conclusion that these are the women that we need on this continent. Enough of paying lip service, enough of the political jargons. We need real women who are interested in the future of our young girls. Your Excellency, congratulations for all that you have done for this country, for all that you have done for the women, and for all that you have done for the community. The Young African Women Congress, as in being the initiative of the York Network, is a congregation of women. We say young women, but personally, I believe that everyone has the right to determine whether she is young or not, because being young is a state of the mind. If you think you are old, you are old. And if you believe you are young, you are young. So everyone has the opportunity and the right to be part of the platform. And basically, we focus on women's empowerment and their development. In all spheres of life, it is not career specific. Whatever you want to, aspire for, whatever you want to achieve, it's actually the platform for you. Participants of the Congress come from all the countries on the continent, including the diaspora. You have diaspora women, African women who are living in the diaspora joining the conference. And during the sessions, there are a series of activities, including presentations, group brainstorming sessions, panel discussions. It's also an opportunity to explore the tourism potentials of the hosting country. So there is a fun trip, which is part of the program. There is also an opportunity for businesses to exhibit themselves. So we have the business exhibition. And of course, this year's edition, which we are partnering with the Office of the First Lady, Dr. Fatima Madabio, comes with series of activities. In fact, this year's Congress is going to be unique. It's going to be different from all that we have done. because we have other stakeholders who are involved in this, and that is the office of the First Lady, and by extension, the government of Sierra Leone. There is going to be an opportunity to enhance the investment potentials of Sierra Leone. There's going to be a side event that sponsoring companies will have the chance to interact with strategic ministers of development. For instance, ministers of trade, finance, agriculture, sanitation, and what have you, both in Sierra Leone and the neighboring countries, including the headquarters of Ghana, and the international community as well. So there's going to be a cocktail event where these businesses will have the privilege to interact with the strategic ministers, and we are even hoping that we'll be able to get the attention of the president of the country to be part of such a session, because we believe that it's an opportunity to get investors' attention to the potentials in this country. Having gone around Freetown, I've realized that yesterday I was just telling the Nigeria chapter president that this country has great potential, because I actually felt at peace here. The country is so peaceful. And before any investor will be interested in development or maybe invest in a particular country, peace is the main thing they look out for. Because if for making money, it's all about how you're able to, be smart about your business. But if there is no peace, because this hotel where we reside, Radisson Blu, in other countries, before you enter, you go through series of screening, scan your bag, sometimes you even have to open it and all that. But we walk through so peacefully. Everyone is so calm, everyone is so quiet, everyone is just minding their business, there's no tension and all that. So we believe that if we're able to attract investors' attention to the country, it will be a great deal for the development of the nation. Hence, such a sideline event being part of the Congress. There's also going to be an opportunity to expose the culture of the country. So there's going to be a cultural side event as part of the Congress. Of course, the tourism ministry will also have its share. We are even planning that before the people get on the boat from Lungi to Freetown, they will have an idea about the tourism, locations in the country, so that people who may want to even stay beyond the stipulated period of the Congress can have an opportunity to, tour these places. The beaches and all the other places, the serene environment. And I think one thing that I have to commend you, I know this is not the only country that is at the coastal area, but the fact that you have been able to maximize that opportunity is great. I realize that many of your hotels are along the beach, and it's a sight to behold. When you are in your room, you can just pick a sea view. You pick some inspiration from there. All these are, things that attract people to a country. So we want to use this opportunity to expose the tourism potential to people who are coming in. We will have over 1,000 people coming into this country in November for the Congress. And so we hope that we will get the necessary collaboration beyond the partnership with the office of the First Lady, the trade, the industry, the private sector, the international community, the United Nations agencies. This is the opportunity for all of them to come on board to champion the women's empowerment agenda with the realistic and real First Lady Fatima Madabio. I believe that when we're able to take advantage of this opportunity, it will be a win-win situation for the network and for the country. And once again, I want to welcome you all to this August occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Executive Chairperson, Mr. Daniel Osei-Tufo. And thank you for reinforcing our conviction that Sierra Leone is one of the most peaceful places in the world. And we say to you, Akwaba. Sierra Leone is blessed and indeed honored to have a First Lady who has made front, central, and prominent what once was considered to be a taboo and an elephant in the room. Madam First Lady, from your work on rape to championing a United Nations resolution for victims of sexual abuse, the world applauds you. And we in Sierra Leone are grateful that we have you as our First Lady. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me honor, delight, and privilege to now invite the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone to make a statement.
The mic no be on. It's still not on. You know, the office of the president, and they try very hard, but still not good with technology. Good morning. I'm excited. Good morning, Daniel, the Executive Chairperson for Young African Women Network. And let me take the opportunity also to welcome our dear sister, the President of Young Women's Network Nigeria. Of course, my own President in Sierra Leone. Now, the amazing thing about this organization is that all the meetings I've had with them, the Sierra Leone chapter is full of lawyers. There's lawyer of this, lawyer that, the barrister this, that. I said, oh, no, go make afraid of. But I'm so humble because this is the first time, I think this is my first public engagement since after His Excellency's election and after he won this 2023 June election. So this is my first public engagement, and I am happy that I am seeing not only men but women of substance, most importantly ministers. Hey, this is a new revolution. I am so happy to see you female ministers here, and my boss is here, the Minister of Gender is here, so I'm very, very humble. You're talking about Minister of the Minister of Finance. Well, the Deputy Minister of Finance is here, and it's a woman, you know, so she's here. And my other boss is here. You know, the President's boss is the Inspector General of Police. So which means my boss is the wife of the Inspector General of Police. So she's here. And GMB members, I want to say I am humbled to have all of you, every one of you here this morning, for us to just chat a way forward as to
what I am planning. When I say what I mean, as the Office of the First Lady, my first plan of 2023 is to partner with the Young African Women's Congress Network. And the reason why I've decided to work with these young ladies is the fact that the Sierra Leone chapter, the members of the Sierra Leone chapters are all cool. And I like them. And it's also an opportunity to give them the platform so that the other chapters know that we have great women in this, our beautiful country. And it is also an opportunity to host 1,000 plus people in our country. And we, if you sit back and think about the tourism potentials in that, for the 5 days they'll be here, they'll be in our hotels, they'll be eating our food. Whatever they do, it's on them. Since my media people are here, let me start by making this very clear. I am not the one buying their ticket. I am not the one paying their hotels, and most definitely not the one feeding them. They will be buying their own tickets, they will be paying their own hotel bills, and they will be paying their food in the hotels, so which means they will be investing in our economy. And that's the reason why I thought this is an opportunity to not only showcase the brilliant women we have in Sierra Leone as the chapter, the Young African Women chapter in Sierra Leone, but also how do we sell our culture? How do we make people see our country not as a blood diamond country or Ebola shrinking country or a country that we are just busy chopping each other's arm? These are opportunities. But the most important part is how do we say thank you to His Excellency. The President promised us 30% of every sector in this country, government sector will have 30% of women. How do we celebrate those women? How do we make people see that the President, when he speaks, he delivers and he makes sure it happens? And he has done that after the election. 30%, in fact, I think it's more than 30% now that are women leading in a different sector in this country. And when I say women, I mean women with substance and women that can change this country. I'm very, very proud. I have not had the opportunity yet because I'm waiting for my APC sisters to come to Parliament so that I'll have the opportunity to have both the APC, the SLPP women, and the ministers for us to come together as women of this country and celebrate, not just because President Bio has actually delivered in his promises, but we now know this is the norm. Whichever president comes back after President Bio, we know that 30% is the least you will have to give to women in this country. And I think there is no political barrier in that. We should come together and let the men know that we know exactly what we're doing, and we're very intentional on the things that we're doing. And because we're intentional, we are going to make them account for it. Because when you say you're giving us 30%, you have to prove that you are ready to give us 30% before we will rally with you in the future. So I hope, but this is not a political platform. I'll have the opportunity when I am with you people. And I also want to say to you all, I just realized that the president of the Women's Forum, the biggest, of course, all the women umbrella agencies, you guys are under the president of the Women's Forum, and she's here, Sally Adams. You're most welcome. I can't welcome my mother, but I will have to. My mother is here, Madam I.J. Kaba. I just want to say, today we are just going to do a signing. This is just a symbol to say to Daniel and the president from Nigeria that Sierra Leone is ready for business. And when the office of the First Lady champion anything, we do it with style, we do it with class, And there's one thing we don't have in our agenda. We don't do failure. When we go with everything because it has to be successful. And now seeing the ministers here, I know this is going to be a success because they are women and they understand when a woman wants something, what they need to do. So I'm going to be calling on all of the female ministers who are here and the ones that are not here to actually push their male colleagues and say, please, this time it's a women's revolution and we have to be there. And if we're going to be there, we're not asking you to just sit back. We want you to be behind us and clap for us because we've been clapping for them all our lives. And it's our opportunity now for the men, including the president himself. We'll have to get the president. And when I hold the meeting with the ministers, and the members of parliament, I am going to invite His Excellency the President for him to come and thank you people, because the things that women do, the multitask that we're able to do, the versatility that we have in us, I believe this dispensation, this new revolution that the President has put together, I believe this is the new change Sierra Leone needs. And with you people, it's going to happen. My job is just to make the President happy, because when the President is happy, it pushes you people to work, and when you work, Sierra Leone will be happy. So that is my job, and I'm going to promise you that I will be doing my own part perfectly. So we have a 5-day ceremony from November 24th, the 20th to the 24th. And we're expecting our guests to be here. Well, they will start to come from the 19th, but our official arrival will be the 20th, and our official departure will be 24th. But I believe that some of them will stay back to actually, because in Sierra Leone, when you eat cassava leaf, you cannot leave. So we'll make sure from the moment they arrive at the airport, the only food they will have to eat before they cross Lunge will be cassava leaf, so that they will stay more, because the more they stay, the more our hotels will be happy and the more our food will sell. So I want to say thank you, and I'm calling upon all of you to join us in this crusade. It is a crusade for our nation, and it is a way, it's the most perfect way of marketing what your country have. And I want to be just a voice to market the beauty of Sierra Leone, to market the peace of our nation, and to market why our women are the best in this country. And I want to say thank you to the Young African Women Congress President Sierra Leone. She came to my office with no expectation. She actually came to invite me to go to Ghana because they are hosting this event in Ghana. And I looked at her, I said, are you crazy? I am going nowhere. If you people want me in Ghana, believe you me, we can invite the Ghana First Lady to come to Sierra Leone. So we should do this program in Sierra Leone. And I said to Daniel, I know you've been doing this in different parts of the world, but I don't think you've done it anywhere that looks like Sierra Leone. And we promise you that is exactly what we are going to show you when we start on the 20th. The President, Nigeria, I have also told His Excellency that you want your First Lady to be here. And we are going to write officially to invite her and hope that she will come. I am not the boss. The President is the boss. And when the boss speaks, you just follow. So, but I've passed on your message, and we are going to work on that. At this juncture, I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you for coming. Thank you for being part of the office of the First Lady. One way or the other, every one of you here has actually been part of my office, one way or the other, and supporting, in criticizing, in making it work. And the more you criticize, the more I work like crazy. Not because I'm scared, it's just because if you don't criticize me, I'll be lazy. Please, when you see me doing something that is wrong, say it. That will make me a better person. If you see me doing things that are not right and you just clap for me, you are going to contribute in me being a failure. So I've always been grateful to the media, because I go around, you know me, I'm a media person, but the one thing I've learned is don't say anything. And by not saying anything doesn't mean I'm guilty of anything. It just means that I am now prioritizing the things that really matters. And that is Sierra Leone, and how do we make Sierra Leone a better place. But I've appreciated all of you, because you have made me this woman who is very, very focused and know what she wants and the things that she wants to be involved in. Without your criticism, I would have been a lazy First Lady. But thank you. And I hope that this time you will help me be a better, a more positive woman that is representing Sierra Leone, Africa, and representing the black race. And I want you to be part of that journey. So I want to say thank you, the staff of the Office of the First Lady. In fact, we know Bokusef. But I want to say thank you for making it happen all the time. Thank you very much. And Madam Phyllis, you're going to come and help us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so very much. May God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Madam First Lady, for your very profound words and for always inspiring our women and our girls. Executive Chairperson, you have listened, and you yourself said you feel at peace. So where you feel at peace is where you do your thing. So this is home. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, on the program, we'll now proceed with the official signing of the partnership MOU. And I think the Chief of Staff is helping to facilitate that. And after the official signing of the MOU, we'll take a few questions from the press speaking to the subject matter. And we hope these ones will be very complimentary to the process as well. Camera guys, please do, and also make room for colleagues at the back. Camera crew, that's fine, thank you. Yes. Thank you very much, Chief of Staff, and thank you, Madam First Lady and Executive Chairperson. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam First Lady has graciously consented to take a few questions. So if you have questions speaking to the subject matter, please let's take those questions now. Okay, thank you. So that suggests no questions. In that case, on the agenda, we'll have group photo. Then to the staff. Can we have the president for Nigeria chapter, the president for Sierra Leone chapter? After this, we'll have ministers in the room. Ministers, please. Nigeria, please. Can we kindly ask Isaac from UNAIDS to join? Can we ask JMB to be in readiness?
Vice President.
Okay, JMB with First Lady. So. After JMB, we'll have Women's Forum. Women's Forum.
media and civil society. They have been pillars of strength in advancing the cause of democracy in Sierra Leone. I pledge to uphold their independence, for there can be no democracy without the rule of law, no democracy without security, and no democracy without a constructive civil society and a free press that inform, educate, and hold public office holders accountable. Just look at this. This man is liberal. He has appreciated the efforts of all these people, especially the security sector. Now we can sleep. Although there are some informations in the social media or whatever, but with the security apparatus that we are having here, I think we should say thank you to His Excellency for even appointing the honest and dedicated security. So the security out there, we love our heart to you people, and we rely on you, and we say thank you for spending your time, especially the soldiers will be down there in the bushes, watching and looking out for bad people. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we too in Parliament, we appreciate all of you. And to my brothers out there, you have heard from our colleagues, and you have heard from the other people who are saying, come, the olive branch is there. And not the olive branch, it is your right, for God's sake. It is your right. Come and exercise your right. You have to oppose constructively. We have to disagree to agree. We know what we went through for in Bo. I think for the all honorable members, you should be there to tell the others. Some people are just selfish. But we want you, let you go by the Bo Declaration so that you can come together to work for the benefit of this nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with that, I just want to say thank you to His Excellency. The speech was good, it was short and precise. It has all the SO2BAS that the people out there want to hear. We say thank you, and we want to make sure all those who have been placed in positions of trust live to the expectation of His Excellency. He cannot do it alone. And also the women, we are in it together. We should be in it together. Even the people, the women in Abacha Street, even the women in Dovecot, Congo Market, and all other areas, we should be in this together. When they say woman, it's woman. There is no other name, no other surname. Woman is woman. Let us come together. Don't be selfish. Don't be carried away. Don't be pushed to the corner to go and demonstrate. You have a role to play. You have your children. They should be there. They will become honorable members in time to come. Please, my sisters, the business people, let us come together to fight for the benefit of our beloved country. Thank you very much.
Honorable Lady, my last speaker for the morning is Honorable from Kenya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to talk on the debate of the speech as delivered by H.E. Dr. Brigadier Julius Malabio on the 3rd of August this year. As we be aware, these are annual or sessional statements, and the President will come to present to the Member of Parliament. And in those speeches normally, the President will recap on achievements so done in the previous years. In this circumstance, for example, the past 5 years, what were his achievements? What were the challenges? He spoke on the flagship project, which was free quality education, human capital development. And we also saw that 22% of GDP was contributed to education. And as we speak, and I'm sure that is a success story, he equally spoke to infrastructural development. A lot of infrastructural development, be it on roads, on bridges, on electricity, were done in the past 5 years. And so in conclusion, he did say that he was very factual and sure that in the past 5 years, he delivered on almost all of the manifesto promises he made. And in this statement, he now puts out what will be his program for the next 5 years. And of course, we may have heard of the 5 game changers. It has been stated by MPs over and again. And I'm sure he may have looked at critically the challenges of this country. What are our problems? Year in, year out, this should not be politicized. We have problems with our food, our staple food, which is rice. We cannot produce that. We have to import. And you use millions of dollars to import this food to Sierra Leone. And we don't have the required foreign exchange. We don't have the supply to continue to import. And now countries around the world, for example, India, have put a ban to exportation of their rice. The president has identified that if we have to become a prosperous country, we have to begin to feed ourselves. And before now, in the history of Sierra Leone, I'm sure there were times when this country was feeding itself. And we were exporting the excess and earning the required foreign exchange. But all those are not history. What went wrong? So the president is saying, feed Salome, agricultural productivity, food security should be our flagship for these 5 years. And I'm sure as lawmakers, as stakeholders, as leaders in our own right, we have to be very serious about this thing. They have spoken to doing mechanized farming, bringing more techniques, and training people with regards to all of this, so that in the next 5 years, we can be able to produce enough rice, enough other food that will be required for consumption, so that we'll be comfortable in eating them. If they are sufficient enough, we can export them and get the required foreign exchange and probably do some other development in the industry. Like I mentioned, nobody should play politics with that. Because no government will succeed, no political party will succeed if we don't have this right. And I'm sure it doesn't matter which political party you belong to. We have to support the president and the people of this country to ensure that we succeed in feeding ourselves. They again pointed out to human capital development. Of course, for the past 5 years we've been on that, free quality education, contributing to the 2% of GDP. That shows how serious it has been. But our education in this country largely has been white collar. White collar, wherein we just want to use codes and sit in offices. The missing gap has been the middle manpower training. Has not been there. Or where people have been trained to the 21st century jobs that are available now. That is where we will not be able to meet. However, we have to ensure that we train our people, our educated folks, our young people into the middle manpower. That is why through the Ministry of Higher and Technical Education, there are a lot of skills training institutions provided across the entire country so that people can be trained in demand-driven skills so that they can be easily employable and you can produce more and the country can benefit. We have to be very serious about that. The president went further to talk on youth, and we believe that the future of this country lies in the hands of youth. But we have to be very sincere with ourselves. Let us look at our youth today. The young people whom we call the future. Are they taking the right training? Are they on the right trajectory to take over tomorrow? I am not pretty sure. But most of them are not even doing the correct training. And their social behaviors are not helping matters. They are involved in drugs. That is a pervasive across the entire country. And we have to be very, very serious and ensure that our youth are industrious, our youth are given the required training, and our youth are employable. So the president has put in place a lot of things to ensure that our youth get required training so that they can be able to take over this country tomorrow. They will have the required training to do that, and you can be safe with them. And he spoke about employment. We are talking about 500,000 jobs to be provided. 100,000 every year. That is a huge chunk of jobs, and it's a very serious business. So we equally want to talk to the Ministry of Labour and Employment that there are jobs already. Let us try to retrieve those ones. There are qualified Sierra who are supposed to be shopkeepers, who can ride tractors, who can do other things that has been done by so many places in this country as we speak. So we want to encourage government. There are laws already. Encourage the Ministry of Labour and Employment to retrieve those jobs. And equally, government should encourage the private sector. Because the public sector cannot absorb everybody. Strengthen the public sector, widen out the public sector, so that they can be able to employ people, qualified youth. And equally, the public sector can equally do that. We urge the Ministry of Labour to ensure that they use the required laws in the country to help HE President to achieve this. In all of this, it doesn't matter how much manifesto we have, how much good your program is. Those who implement all of these policies are the civil servant, the public servant. And we've agreed that the public service has a lot of challenges. That is basic fact. They are challenged with the required skills and training. They are challenged with equipment. They are challenged with some, they are even very behaviors. So for us to succeed with all of these 5 game changers, the public service has to be properly trained. Their mindset should be different. They have to be motivated. Their emolument, thank God, we've passed the wages and compensation bill in this country. It has been set up, and we look forward to its implementation. So that, for example, if you have a BA or BSc in one sector, your salary and emolument will be the same across someone across at the other end. But these are the reasons people are moving from one job to the other because of inequalities in the job cadres, in the salaries and emoluments. We're looking forward to that. But when all of these are happening, if we have the required public service, I'm sure they will implement all of this, and this country and its citizens will benefit. To conclude, the statement by HE President is fruitful, is nice, and as lawmakers, as leaders in Sierra Leone, I'm sure we'll join President to ensure that we implement these. Because if Sierra Leone prospers, we all prosper, and our children and children's children will be better. I thank you very much.
I thank the Honourable Member for his contribution, and I want to thank all those who have taken the floor up to this point. This House will now stand adjourned to 3 o'clock.
The House is continued.
Honourable members, I'm very pleased to announce that I can only accommodate 6. 6 speakers and then wind up the debate.
Nobody from Karen, nobody from no MP from Karen, no MP from Boloko. Take the seats.
Blame it on the inclement weather.
Greetings from Cambia.
The weather is inclement and we should be heading home very shortly.
Mr. Speaker, the time is past 3. I move that the Speaker to be suspended.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to that motion?
On the motion, Mr. Speaker.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. And those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Good. I can only accommodate 6. And strictly 5 minutes, not a second more than that. Let me start with the lady at the far end there.
The mobile mic. Guys, that one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency for a well-detailed, precise speech. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, His Excellency's speech was a blueprint for us and is a blueprint where it highlights profound changes, game changers for us. And if we are able and willing to support these game changers, we will have a nation of self-sufficient in the future. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to focus on the human capital development. But they say charity begins at home. I've heard my honorable members speak about health. And of course, health is one of the core keys for the human capital development. My name is Margaret Lemata Johnson. I have a background of health, mental health trained, and a psychotherapy master trained. Coming to Parliament, I feel there are things that we are lacking here that we need. We have staff members, we have quite a lot of staff and members of Parliament. But Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it's appalling that our health facility here is, I wouldn't say it's non-existent, but it is lacking a lot of facilities. And it will be sad for us to be highlighting health and all the resources and input and percentage that we're having, but we haven't really thought about our Parliament health facility. And it's needed. It's seriously needed because we are all here, we're healthy looking, but there are people with physical health conditions and also probably psychological conditions that nobody is aware of. But God forbid we have an incident or crisis. How many of us here could say we are CPR trained or first aid trainers? Do we even have an allocated person for us to say that we could call if something happened? I've heard about the health facility, but I haven't seen the actual. It is not fully functional. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that is one thing I would want His Excellency to be aware of, that we, as Member of Parliament, are asking for our own facilities to be remembered in this fight, in the human capital development and the revamping of the health facility. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I represent two chiefdoms, the Bejobonge chiefdom and the Penguia chiefdom. The Penguia chiefdom is at the end, Guinea border. I am very happy that His Excellency in his speech is highlighting that the health facility is going to ensure that we have health facilities in, everybody will have access to a healthcare center in the 3-mile range. I pray that our own chiefdoms will be remembered. And I want to thank His Excellency because he has remembered one. And the health facility, by the grace of God, will be launching very soon this year in Penguia. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am passionate about mental health because it is one of my fields. And it is an area of mental health that is stigmatized. And it is not looked at fully because we have Disability Act, and our honorable colleague was speaking to our deputy minister who was approved today about revamping the Disability Act. But I've only heard one of my honorable members highlighted that our Mental Health Act need to be urgently looked at. It is outdated, it is discriminatory, and it is of the 19th century. And we are in the 21st century. And we live in a country that have had severe crisis and trauma events, from civil war, Ebola, mudslides. Most of Sierra Leoneans are living with this trauma. And we are talking about the drug use. But nobody has thought about the underlying issues of the significant increase of our drug use in this country. We've had civil wars, and that has happened. It was probably 20 years going now. We've had Ebola. People have lost their lives. People have lost family members. They are traumatized. And sometimes people use drugs to self-medicate. So while we're looking at legal framework to stop the drugs coming in, I want to ask and appeal to this that we really look at the rehabilitation areas and an active campaign in terms of policies for the drug use. People who are suffering from it. You cannot just tell someone to stop drugs. Addiction is a condition and is a problem. there are various ways people are addicted to things. And I think psychologically, we need to be able to find a way how to help these people who are going through this. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, His Excellency in his speech talked about having every school-going children to have access to healthcare. Now, we have, at the moment, His Excellency has done very well for us in the healthcare, where he's recruited over 5,000 health workers. We have about probably 10,200 something schools, both primary and secondary. And if His Excellency is hoping that we have every school-going children to have access to healthcare, we need to recruit more nurses and each to be assigned to schools. School nurses are vital. It minimizes the hospital going and young people would have access to health. That is one of my requests. He also talked about emergency services. Now, we are living in a country and we have quite a lot of road traffic accidents. Emergency services are good, but we need to think about the highways. I am thinking and suggesting and putting this to His Excellency. Let's think about hubs, accident crisis hubs in the highways. It will save lives. We do not, by the time you think about it, if we have fatal accidents in the Kenema Ball Highway, by the time somebody will move you out of your car, it is not the accident that kills you. It is actually the traumas that your body goes through before you get to the hospital. So we need to think about that. While His Excellency is thinking about having increased accident and emergency services, I will recommend that he thinks about the main highway roads to have accident emergency hubs with trained nurses, nurse-led sometimes, but in the middle where it will be a 30-mile range from the point to hospital. And this will also help the communities around that area. We're saying access to affordable, quality healthcare. These are things we should recommend to His Excellency to add, and it will help us, because every one of us do use the highway to travel to our chiefdoms, and some of us, some people, do drive fast, and we've had a large level of road traffic accidents, and it will save lives. And so His Excellency needs to really think about that for us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Lady for a very brilliant suggestion. It's rather unfortunate, I don't know how it came about, that on this particular occasion we do not have senior civil servants in attendance from the MDA. That used to be routine for debates of this nature. You should be in attendance to take notes and to listen to the various suggestions coming from members of Parliament. Just as we heard from the Honorable Lady, I would have liked to see an official from the Ministry of Health take down notes for the attention of the Minister. That hasn't happened. I don't know what happened. I mean, I was indisposed when this debate started, unfortunately. I would have insisted on that. They cannot all just be absent like that. I also noticed the leadership role is empty. Does anyone know the reasons why I'm not seeing?
Let me check.
No. The primary question is why aren't there officials from the ministry in attendance? Okay, I will reserve it. I will reserve it until I see one of them come in. But that's normally routine. They should be here to take down notes for the attention of the ministers.
If I may, from what I heard in the world the other day, when we started, the Deputy Speaker did request for that. There was an excuse given that they were on a workshop or conference in Inchimani with the President for 2 days. That was on a Monday and Tuesday, I believe.
All the directors?
All the directors?
No,
The ministry?
just that it was a conference for ministers and deputy
Yes.
ministers, I believe.
Yes.
But then that was for Monday and Tuesday. So
Oh,
you
we
can't-
were, no.
You have to tell us why Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's nothing.
I can very well understand for the ministers, for the deputies, but I cannot understand if I look around and see no director, no civil servant at director level. Right through this debate.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, in my own opinion, I think that
I want facts. Opinions are free. Facts are sacred.
But thank God the other day you said that everybody has right to his or her opinion.
Opinions are free.
Okay,
so
facts,
many
facts.
of them myself.
Okay, facts.
Give me facts.
Yes, because in your absence, Mr. Speaker, we requested their presence here. So to me, they have no respect to for the parliament, because on Wednesday I also raised that particular point for them to be here. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, it is with your leadership to make sure, yes, whatever we say here have some amount of authority, so that we'll be able to know that this is not a parliament that you can joke with, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, your point is well taken. I will look into this.
There was a ruling, Mr. Speaker, by the way. There was a ruling, the Honorable Deputy Speaker ruled that all directors or representatives from the respective institutions should come the other day. And the collapse can confirm that. There was a ruling on that.
I'll reserve that question for the leaders. May I now give the floor to the Honorable Umu Time.
Thank you.
Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay, you have the floor. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to the motion of thanks to the address that our President graciously delivered in this House on the 3rd of August. I want to thank the President for the legislation that he achieved most of the critical bills that he achieved in these past 5 years, like the GV Act of 2022, sorry. That was a good one for this House and for the President. I want to actually acknowledge the remarkable stride that SFPP government took during the last 5 years to give the limelight on Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Act through agriculture. During the last 5 years, women were actually focused on in agriculture. NACSA, the National Commission for Social Action, was given the task to actually look at farmers who were women, especially in the Ribi Chiefdom. About 80% of women were actually gained. They were monitored, evaluated, and then they gained most of the agricultural facilities that they should gain. Despite our Ministry of Agriculture, that I presume planned very much on paper instead of implementing out in the field. NACSA embarked on giving women leadership role. We had master farmers who were women. Women were given credit. And in the Ribi Chiefdom, we have about 15,000 hectares boli land and about 10,000 IVS. NACSA did not actually till all of those lands for the women because of they didn't have machinery. But what they were able to do, they did it. 1,500 women in the Ribi Chiefdom actually embarked on agriculture, and that was because of NACSA. The Women Empowerment Bill actually have given 30% of women in the rural areas. I don't know for the other districts actually, but in the Moyamba district, as I said, in the Ribi Chiefdom, to embark on farming. So the Feed Salon program is not actually strange to us there, and the President actually took a good initiative to talk about Feed Salon program when we in the Ribi Chiefdom have actually started embarking on that. The 5 initiatives that President spoke about, and which is the Feed Salon program is the first one. I want to say to this House that we have been on it since the first term of this government. And when it comes to the agriculture, we have a system wherein our farmers have a middleman instead of meeting the agriculture office itself, which is a service provider. And I want to say to this House, the service provider, we have one service provider in each district, I presume. And like for our district, we have one service provider there that he is not easy actually to contact. He has all of the machineries. And whenever you want something from them, they refer you to their office. And when you go there, it's nothing to write home about. So I want to actually say, if our government want to feed salon, we should depend on like NACSA. If we depend on agriculture, the agriculture office itself, the ministry itself, I think we will not be able to feed salon. I have an example here where we have 20 tractors given to Moyamba district. When we needed the tractor, mostly at that time, we never got the tractor because the operator himself refused to go and take the tractor. Why? Because he said he was not paid. So I want us in this house to actually look at, especially the oversight committee that are with agriculture, to follow the system of agriculture, how they implement their work. They are not time bound. If farming starts in February, they cannot give you seedlings until after 2 months. How can we plant? When we want machinery to go and till our land, the bony land, until it rains and water takes over the whole place before you can get the machineries. In one of my area in my constituency, when we applied for this for tractor, we never got it until water took that area. So I am standing here this afternoon to actually plead with my my honorable members to let us actually focus on the timeline of agriculture in our areas. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, I really want to say again, as I've spoken about NACSA, that NACSA did not only give focus on women and what they should do, but they also focused on the feeder roads. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, because they know that they've given money, they've monitored and evaluated, and they wanted these materials to come to Freetown. They embarked on repairing 10 kilometers of road at the Ribi Chiefdom, so that the products can come to Freetown easily on Waterloo. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to say here that that when we have embarked on women because of gender equality and women empowerment, we can feed Salone, but we have to do that. I just want to, in conclusion, I stand before you today to wholeheartedly support the President's address and the achievements of the SLPP government in promoting gender equality and women's empowerment within the agriculture sector through initiatives like Feed Salone. As a member of Parliament, I am proud to be part of a government that recognizes the pivotal role that women play in the nation's progress and is dedicated to creating opportunities that uplifts the citizens. Together we shall continue this journey towards a more inclusive and prosperous Sierra Leone.
I thank the Honorable Lady for her contribution, very incisive, and insightful. She reminds me of my day as agriculture minister. And though I will be announcing very shortly the membership of the sessional committees before we close today, maybe what the lady before her said should be noted by the health committee, and also what the Honorable Umu has just said should equally be noted by the Agriculture Committee. And thankfully, agriculture is presently the flagship project of His Excellency the President. I just want to endorse what she said for the edification of all of us, so that when we divide it up into committees, you bear some of these points in mind. One lesson I took away from the Ministry of Agriculture in the 80s was government is certainly not a good producer of food. I don't know whether government is a producer of anything, in fact. You can create the environment. We can create the framework, legislative, administrative, otherwise. But to actually dabble with the actual process of production, government is certainly not a good candidate for that. And what she said reminds me of what the tractor operators used to do. Exactly. People will come, farmers will come to the ministry or the sub-offices, pay for plowing, and they will never get the tractors. And after I learned that bitter lesson in my first year, in my second year, I'll tell you what I did. I privatized all the tractors. Gave the tractors directly to the farmers. Encouraged the farmers to form themselves into groups and cooperatives and take control of the tractors. And the moment you do that, of course you're going to offend the officialdom, but you're going to create an atmosphere of improving productivity. Because there is no farmer who will buy a tractor and let it lie fallow. No way. Or a group of them contributing towards the purchase of a tractor will never allow that tractor to lie fallow. They will make use of it to produce. Because their livelihood depends on it, their profitability depends on it. So I think the Agriculture Committee should begin to take note of some of the points that honorable members are making, so that during oversight, they can actually use that to question the validity of some of the policies that are being implemented. We should encourage our farmers to take ownership, direct ownership of the inputs, be they machinery, fertilizers, or seeds. And we'll see the difference in productivity. You leave it in the hands of government employees, forget it. It will not happen. Let me now give the floor to Honorable Habib Father.
Unity. Hey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me start by extending my sincere appreciation to H.E., the President, for his concise, succinct, and well-loaded address given in a jiffy on the occasion of the state opening of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic in the chamber of the Parliament building.
Is your neighbor Honorable Macri?
Sorry.
You are directed to take 2 seats to your right.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Take 2 seats to your right.
Mr. Speaker,
Don't distract.
honorable members.
Don't distract the honorable members.
Being a respect of time, I will be very brief. I'll be very brief. As a result of that, I will go down straight to the 5 game changers. The peace salon, the human capacity, capital development, youth empowerment, enhancing public service, architecture, technology, and infrastructure initiative. Basically, this manifesto promises, or I look at them as the government's strategic direction.
All of them are just giving a serious
as a flagship program of reaching the president's initiative.
And we are them for now. We only have a few hours to go. By the time they return, they will see where they will be seated.
To tackle the food importation dependency, food production and food sufficiency through agriculture tackles in the country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I accept the 5 game changers, particularly with absolute certainty, reason me that our president is accredited for doing what he taught. Being more or less is a talkative president. Basically, we can envisage the direction the president is taking this country to, based on his priorities. Mr. Speaker, may I get your attention? Basically, we are seeing that we are moving in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, any government that takes the step in the direction as planned by each president is planned to move the country from the quagmire of underdevelopment. It is crystal clear that our priorities.
Keep doing this. I'm watching every one of you. By the time you come back from recess, you will wonder what happened to your city. Carry on.
If we are talking about going forward as a nation, I think youth empowerment is not only limited to creating job for youth, but even assuring the nation of permanent security and stability. For the human capital development, basically, if we are trying to catch up with the skills for the 21st century, I think the allocation government has placed and the policies which governments have put in place for this, I can say the strategic plans, it's really clear, crystal clear that we are moving in the direction where we will see this country one day in a situation which we are all yearning for.
Wonderful. On that note,
Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity granted to add my voice to the presidential speech.
I will now give the floor to the Western area.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable member, Mr. Speaker, we want to thank the President for the level of speech given to his House. We do believe it's a President that's determined to deliver this nation. Whenever you sit and dine with the President, you will know it's a person that has a heart for this nation. He is a president that wants Sierra Leone to be like any other state, even like the US, America, and even like the UK. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, as we talk about infrastructure, if we can talk about infrastructure, we did not mention the West Urban or the rural, we did not say anything in this House. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, when you look at the past 5 years, what the President has done within the Western Urban, you will know it's a President that it did not have a district limitation. It look at beyond what we think of. It did not look at like our past regime, they only look at McKinney. Our President goes beyond McKinney. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, if you look at the road from Sussex, Bobo to Tokyo, you know that this president is the president that's ready to deliver. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, when you look at infrastructure, you talk about Western Urban, what the president has done, you know that this president is a president that means what he says. When you look at the Arakamets in my constituency at that time, or Western Urban, you look at the Arakamets, you know that the president is ready to do that. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, when you look at the work of our president, not even our president, but our first lady, you look at the 34 minutes. You know that the president is the president that's determined and ready to work. You look at the 34 hospital at that time, this hospital is has nothing to talk about at that time. But when you look at the hospital now, the 34 hospital, you know that our first lady is determined for this nation. It's the first lady that's ready to deliver this nation. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our president is a president that is ready to deliver this nation. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, we talk about education. Our president is really determined to transform the life of the youth. In my constituency, the Western Urban, last 5 years, there are 350 young men and women that they give scholarship to go and study to the Aztec institution. And these young people, there's a transformation that most of them have been made, like in terms of construction of house, electricity, those kind of things that have been impacted into those people. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our government is not a government that believes giving drugs to young people to destroy their life. Our government is a government that determines to transform the life of people. Our government is a government that is ready to see that the life of the youth to transform like some of us. When you look at our president, he has a decent family. He has a family that is ready. Mr. Speaker, are you with me?
I'm not only with you, but I just want you to know you've exhausted your fire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'm calling on all my, as I was saying, our president is a president that ready to transform the life of the youth. So I'm calling on my MPs, even the police, after going to recess. I'm calling on us at least to engage our ghetto boys, our town boys, to talk to them to avoid this particular thing that we call push that we show the life of our people. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity that you give me. Sometimes you guys all of your bad, but I believe that the good boy for you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I will now give the floor to the honorable gentleman in blue. And my last speaker for today, before we wind up, would be the member from Daru.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Speaker, please. I want to observe something because every lunchtime, few of my female colleagues, they are being disadvantaged, perhaps because of the please allow me to talk, please. They are being disadvantaged because of the position. They are at the back. No, I want to bring to your attention this. Because initially, you started with this, sir. And later on, you said you were not going to do this because that's what you are standing under this institution. There is already at the back, Honorable Juliana. She met me and she wanted to, at least, if not to make a speech, but make a small contribution to it. I'm pleading on her behalf.
Can she identify herself, please?
She's at the back.
Are you sure, madam, you've never spoken? I can remember you. I can remember your face. So to say you've not had your maiden speech, I think it's not quite. As people will say, being economical with the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Jubilee Someone here from Bond Street. Honorable members, colleagues, please. Not only the 5 big changes, but he was able to discuss the way forward for us to have peace in this country, for which I admire him so much. As a peace and development practitioner, there is no way we have a sustained development if we are not at peace. That is one big thing as members of parliament today from the Sierra Leone People's Party. We must be very grateful that we have a very reasonable and considerate president. I watched a video where somebody can say when SLPP boycotted the parliament sometimes in history, and the APC were dancing and jubilating in this town. Today, it is our business as Sierra Leone People's Party to ensure our brothers come to take their seat and we have a full composition of this house so that we have a better Sierra Leone. And that is the president we have, that we are not concerned about what people will say, but for us to go ahead to develop this country, we need a space for us to dialogue. During the campaign, 3 big things people consider as a challenge. 1, the price of fear, the price of food, and the dollar, the inflation. And if today we are talking about the 5 big changes, and the 5th salon is a flagship project, meaning it is one of the biggest of the 3 things that people consider as a challenge. And if that is so, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, then I want to assure this House that if we can feed Sierra Leone, then we have the right path to a sustained prosperity, as it is stated in paragraph 15 of His Excellency's speech. But the question is, how do we feed Sierra Leone? I have carefully listened to my colleague debaters here, my colleague members of parliament. We have been talking about supporting farmers with seedlings, fertilizers, and the rest. But I ask myself this question: is it not the same model we have been practicing all these years? The community we can consider today that is highly engaged in agriculture, you go there today, the same way they are selling the cup of rice is the same way we are selling the cup of rice in Freetown here. Meaning, we need a model that is different from the subsistence farming. And from your speech just now, when we were talking about where the government cannot be the better producer of food, I will agree, but I would say we possibly can need to develop policies where we need a centralized farming mechanism wherein we can use that as a complement to the subsistence farming our people are doing. My community I'm coming from, they do not know any other activity rather than agriculture. But yet we are still buying rice, we are struggling with the prices. If you go back to reports, statistics, they can tell you that the merchandise imports, 32% of that is food commodity alone. And as it stands, we are talking about $200 million of import bill of rice alone.
No, but surely you can't get rid of subsistence farming. That is why I think the President in his speech has made it quite clear that you need now to graduate and elevate farming into an industry.
Okay, so that is exactly what I'm saying. We are complementing what they are doing. Now let us look at the Tomabone rice farming we are talking about here. In history, we have that particular structure feeding this country. At some point, feeding boarding schools, prisons, and today we have up to about 92,000 hectares of land, and we are not investing in that part of this country. Somebody was talking about roads, feeder roads, linkages to our product. Somebody can now drive from Bo to Tomabone, and I will assure you, when you go there once, you don't want to return there again. We have 82-kilometer road from Koribondo to Mano Koriganya. And if we cannot construct or rehabilitate those roads, how then can we even concentrate on establishing the agricultural activities in that part of the country? And therefore, I am saying that we must intensify the mechanized farming system. Let us inject some of the monies that we will be appropriating here for the Ministry of Agriculture to have a system where the only way we can feed this country, like we say, is when we can produce rice that we can sell at a low cost that everybody here can afford. But if we are still talking about supporting farmers, and by the time the year rounds, the rice that is produced cannot feed even the communities they are producing, then we are still not feeding this country. I will now go to where we talk about youth empowerment program. Youth empowerment program is something that is very key. And if we must achieve that, then it has to go with programs designed to be involved, as we are talking about green jobs, the agricultural sector we are saying. Over the years, somebody will say, Yala University produces agricultural students or agriculturists, but they do not even have a university farm, because some of the courses that designed for us to undertake are not matching with today's industry's demand. And if that is so, we are talking about having a system where we can introduce the minimum power capacity trainings that will fit in today's demand in terms of the agriculture we are talking about, in terms of technology. You now go to social media, you see the youth, the monies they are, the millions of dollars they are making using the social media. In Sierra Leone, what are we doing? Except we are using WhatsApp, Facebook. When you go to schools today, you look at social media, they are comparing the kind of education we have in Africa and Western culture. Because we are not exposed to the technologies the world is presently surviving on. And if that is so, we can say to this House, and the MPs, like you were talking about, they are not here today, let us see how we can redesign. For example, schools, secondary school, and some of the communities that we are coming from. We need to have, for example, a computer lab. From that stage, from the earliest stage of their growth, they can discover the potential that the world is driving at. But if we cannot do that, we still talk about the old system, then we are not making progress. The gender, in this context, now I will summarize on this one. Over the years, the problem we have with gender inclusion is as a result, women coming into the mainstream, they are a victim men who are surviving there already. By nature, last year, for example, when the Guinea Bill was passed, some MPs could not return here, male MPs could not return because some districts needed to have female MPs. And if that is so, then we are saying the 500,000 job in the youth empowerment scheme. Let us see how best we can start practicing the equity so that the women who have been at the back for long will now start to have a system where they can come to the same quota as men. But the one existing already, if we say we are going to impose the gender empowerment from that direction, then most men will be disadvantaged. And I tell you, it will face a very different challenge. Thank you so much.
You're right in the bill as a result?
No, I am recommending that, yes, I am recommending that the buffer we have now, the 500,000 jobs, let us practice equity in that direction. As most jobs occupied by men, we cannot evict them. But as we are planning in the next 5 years to roll out the 500,000 jobs, let us see how best we can concentrate more on giving jobs to women so that they can come to the radar as the men have been over the years. That is my submission. Thank you so much.
I'll now give the floor to the honorable member from Daru. You want the man on crutches? He's already shown you the bandit. After we are done, after you are done, any one of you can become a surgeon and you will subject yourself.
Thank you very much for defending me. At this point, I want to start my debate by thanking or appreciating the President for giving himself selflessly to serving this nation. I also want to thank him for ruling this country beyond colors, beyond party lines, beyond regionalism, beyond whatever discriminating factors. I want to appreciate him for that. I also want to thank him for taking his time to put this fine document together, which dictates the pathway for the next 5 years. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is no secret that as a country, Mr. Speaker,
you remind me of Honorable Abel Strong during the days of the commander. That was exactly how you used to dress, and that's the question the Speaker used to answer.
It's a precedent, by the way.
I hope the bandage is not round your waist as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Again, it is no secret that as a country we face numerous challenges. It is no secret that as a country we face numerous challenges, Mr. Speaker. But again, let me reassure this House that these challenges became worsened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic that affected us as a country, and secondly, the ongoing global crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, most of the members of this House, preferably members on the other side, are of the opinion that the global crisis has no effect to the current situation we face as a country. But let me say this, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Even countries that are developed are being affected by this global crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Not to talk of creeping nations like Sierra Leone. And had it not been for the prompt intervention of the President, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we would have been facing more demeaning situations than the one we are in. But as a result of the deliberate actions of our President, the President was able to intervene to cushion the rash effects that would have affected us as a country. So I appreciate him as a President, and I see him as a President who is deliberate in whatever he wants to achieve as a President. And he has succeeded in ruling beyond all negative factors, amidst all other step ballots that we have created artificially by our brothers on the other side. Deliberately, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we saw in his last administration that deliberate efforts were made by individuals just to disrupt his governance. But he was so smart not to focus on those distractions. He was so smart to focus on the goal and to achieve what he promised the people of Sierra Leone. And today we are a proud nation that the President was able to achieve his promises to this country. The list of numerous challenges we face as a country are numerous. It's a daunting list, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. But again, as members have re-emphasized over and over again, I have every reason to be confident that with the President we have, and as a people, as a country, we shall overcome these challenges. Or better still, we'll be able to minimize these challenges one by one and together. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if you look at the speech provided to us by Mr. Speaker, by Mr. President, you realize he summarized his focus. He summarized his focus so much that as a parliament, we were able to guide the ministers. But it's unfortunate the MPs are not here to listen to some of these recommendations we are going to proffer. And again, that discourages us as parliamentarians. It appears as if we just talk to ourselves. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me quickly rush to this whole flagship project of feeding. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, before I go to the speech proper, let me give us some statistics about what we face as a country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as a country,
I still have your preamble.
As a country, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have a situation, agriculture contributes about 60% of our GDP. And two-thirds of members engaged in productivity are from the agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if you check the statistics, we have 5.6 million hectares of land very viable for agriculture in this country. 5.1 million hectares. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that shows we have enough land for agriculture. That shows we have enough land. And if you look at the natural tendencies that we have as a country, that shows the president's ambition for us to feed ourselves in the next 5 years is possible. Because this is a country that has enough rainfall, which is also good for agriculture. And we have so many rivers supporting because of agriculture. So much irrigation. And it is discouraging to know that 80% of what we consume as a country is from import. We import our consumption, which is so the more reason why we must embark on this feed salon project.
Wonderful.
But again, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, let me just hasten to say, if you look at this document, it actually states that the president is very much passionate for us to be able to feed ourselves. What is that he has given us is a framework. And I believe for the agriculture ministry to succeed with whatever ambitions or aspirations we have, certain factors must be taken into consideration. There must be what we call partnership between and amongst MDAs. There is no way we succeed without making the transport ministry efficient, because we need enough transportation to transport raw materials from the production center to the market. And for you to say you are successful in terms of feeding yourself as a nation, 3 factors are important. 1, you must be able to produce. 2, utilization of those products. 3, availability and access. If those factors are not present, and forget it, you will not be able to feed the country. And that is why, on that note, Mr. Speaker, I believe there is so much effort needed for us to succeed as a nation. And the more reason the minister has to negotiate or partner with other MDAs like the energy sector. We need electricity. And thank God to the current minister, he's been able to give us some adequate amount of electricity that will support whatever strides that we want to achieve as a country. And finally, to conclude, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if you briefly look at the youth sector, let me just conclude on this. If you look at paragraph 35 and 36, page 6, if you look at paragraph 35 and 36, page 6 of his speech, you realize it shows that the president is very much aware of what is going on with the young people in this country. Because if you go through paragraph 35, it states that young people in the Western urban are neither in the universities, nor school going, and not engaged in any productive work service. And that shows the president knows. And if you go to the page 37, paragraph 37, you realize, Mr. Speaker, that again, some of the reasons, some of the reasons responsible for this brain drain of young people coming from rural settings, coming to urban settings, is because there are not adequate facilities.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
For young people.
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Paragraph 38. On that note, you've exhausted your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker.
No, I'm just
No.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And before I take my seat,
the last speaker on my list, before we wind up, is the Honorable Sakotu Momodu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was looking forward to this meeting. I've been here for like a month now. I've been standing, but finally today you have catch me. I thank you very much for that. Mr. Speaker and Honorable Member, I want to say thank you to His Excellency the President for his flagship program, which is Feed Sierra Leone, and also I bring greeting from Kono. I am Honorable Sakotu Momodu, that is one of the honorable representing Kono district. Yeah. Let me go straight to the speech. Mr. Speaker, honorable member, the president, he has done so much for this country, and we have to say thank you to him, especially for we the Konos. I remember 2018 when the flagship program was education, and Kono, from that time, from 2018, our president is the first president that said Kono have gone through injustice in terms of education, which means, and he has helped us a lot on that, because before then, it helped us 2018 to now. We have the university, Science University and Technology going on right now in the district, which we thank His Excellency for that. And also, now we have the flagship program, which is Feed Sierra Leone. And if we are talking about Feed Sierra Leone, Kono has been one of the basket breadwinner of this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have to focus my debate on Kono. Why I'm focusing my debate on Kono? If Kono has been the bread basket, part of the bread basket for this country, then also when we are talking about agriculture, we have to think about Kono. Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I have my recommendation. The recommendation I want to make to this House is inclusiveness. We have to include everybody in to make sure the president succeeds in this Feed Sierra Leone. How? I'll lay my foundation because, Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I'm a graduate from an architectural interior, which means I cannot talk without talking about foundation. My foundation here is for we to include everybody in. For example, like we have to call in the district chairmen in all the districts, Kono, Kenema, Kailaon, you name them. You have to call them and engage them because that will make sure, that will help us for the president to succeed in this program. And also, we have to make sure we include the MPs in this flagship program, which is the Feed Sierra Leone. For example, we the MP, our people are looking so much to us for deliver. Deliver in the sense, for example, or let me make foundation because I cannot talk without a foundation. They are looking for us to deliver. How can we deliver to our people? When we are campaigning, we talk about these things, like for say now, we are going to 2023 election, and the president promised us that we have abundant food in this country. That's one of the promises we give to our people. And now...
Point of order. Point of order. I don't remember any platform the president is going to abundance. I mean, the president did mention in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22 about agricultural productivity, talking about food security. When none of his speech, he said, I am going to provide abundant food for our people. So we need to put the record straight. And it's coming from the government bench. That's why I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker. So I want him, if he's quoting the president, let him make reference on clear documents so that we can understand that at this point in time, the president did make a statement like that. But if he has made a promise during his campaign, let him say so. Say, when I was campaigning, I made a promise to my people that we get abundant food. So it's for the record, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I know, like all other new members, they're all going through the learning curve. But when you are attributing statements to anyone, both in the House and out of the House. Please make sure you do so accurately.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I understand. The only thing I want to say here, we campaign that we'll make sure our people, I campaign that to make sure our people go into farming. And also, why am I saying that? We are talking to the, I want to appeal to the Ministry of Agriculture to help us, the MPs, because that will help us to minimize our responsibility, because our people are looking us to us, they are looking forward to us for development. And if we impact on that, at least we have like a tools to work. Our people have those tools to work. I think that will help us greatly. For example, we need to have like the tractors. Let help us, the MP, to have tractors, so we'll be able to help our people. Because why am I emphasizing on the MPs? Because we all know MPs, we are not responsible for development. But the mindset of our communities, they are thinking that MP has all the riches and MP is supposed to be part of development. And most of them, they are looking for to help them. And also, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, okay. On this note, I want to say thank you to His Excellency, all the Kono people, and we are so grateful. Thank you.
I thank all the honorable members on the floor. I will now wind up the debate, and I give the floor to the acting leader.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am going to make my contribution very short but rich in content. Mr. Speaker, when His Excellency entered this hall, this parliament, sat over there to deliver what we call State of the Union Address. It surprises many states of the nation, as we call it again, State of the Union Address. It surprises many people. It was short, but to the point. Many of us were expecting the president to come here to catalog all what he has done. As usual, we're here to clap. But he has not done that. Instead, the president, among many things, he anchored his speech on reconciliation. On reconciliation. So that's where I am going to anchor today. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the president on page 55, 56, 57, paragraph 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. And 59, he emphasized the point of reconciliation. And I have to say this, and I have to commend Honorable Ibrahim Conte. First thing, the two honorables of Western area for their patriotic speech this afternoon. They spoke here like true nationals of this country. And that is what the president called for. If we want to talk about reconciliation, we have to start here, in this way. In this way. The speeches we make has a long way to go. That is why when the Honorable Member of Honor spoke here this morning, this afternoon, he started to catalog all what the APC did wrong to this country. I said to myself, perhaps he was not here when the president was delivering his state of the nation. He was not here. We don't need to talk about the past anymore. That is what the president called for, peace and reconciliation. We don't need to. We already know them. We already know them. My friend, my colleagues, honorable. We know the problems of this country. We know the problems of this country. We have to move on. We have to forge ahead. Think about tomorrow. Think about tomorrow. The president said, in this very way, in this parliament, where no party attain majority, we need to dialogue. For everything that will cause controversy in this way, for everything. That is what the president talks about. And I'm appealing to the leadership of the ruling party that, Mr. Leader, henceforth, please, I know you tried in the 5th Parliament, but in this 6th Parliament, henceforth, let us hold meetings. Call members of the opposition, chiefs, ruling party, whenever we have a topical issue to discuss in this way, let us hold meeting first and debate, disagree and agree before we come to the well. And that is, in that way, it will reduce tension.
Thank you.
Tension. I said this. I know why I'm saying this. Because come September, when we come from recess, I know the leadership of this way will have the full complement of the APC. I assure you, Mr. Speaker. The full complement of the APC. You will have it in this way. And I hate to see a 6th Parliament that is engulfed with rancor again. I hate to see that. I don't want to see the Speaker to be guarded by police officers or to be walk out of this way. Like it happens in the past. It will never happen again in this 6th Parliament. And all of that depending to how we dialogue. Let us talk. Let us talk. And I have specific requests for the president. I have been doing that privately, and now I have to do it in front of the cameras. for the people to know that some of us here have been playing a role for this country progress. I want, Mr. President, in as much as you have talked about reconciliation, please, number one, help to remove the travel ban against APC people. Please, Mr. President. Because I say this. Most of them are facing commission of inquiry. They are in court. And their properties are in court. So which means when one has his property in court, if he or she wants to travel out of this country, he must be able to go freely and come freely without going through the police for clearance again. Number two. Mama of the house, I expect you to join His Excellency the President on this reconciliation. Okay? Number two, Mr. President. During elections, there are people who are now behind bars on election-related issues. Please, I want you, let us sit down and see how you can withdraw these matters from courts, from police stations. Mr. President, my colleagues over there talk about today that how are we going to talk about peace and reconciliation when in fact former president did not call to congratulate. I am not going to go to that direction. Because my colleagues don't know what is happening behind the scene. That's why he said that. I will not. But all that I can say, that the President, Julius Maada Bio, he has put behind him all that has happened. He now wants to forge ahead. And we must help him. We honorable members sitting here, we must help him. No. I tell you, not when you spend most of your time given to us by Mr. Speaker to contribute on his speech, picking the APC here and there. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, let me talk about the committee. On page 67, paragraph 67, the reforms in the Electoral Commission. The President is very clear. He made it very clear. The challenges they are faced. And most of those challenges, most of them are man-made. I'll tell you this. That is the reason why we have a section of the population today are not happy with the results of the elections. A section. And I have to say this. Even though me standing here, a representative from Karele district, I have issues with the election results. But life has to move on. We now have a president. Life should move on. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to appeal to the President that inasmuch as he spoke about this committee having the Vice President as chairman of this committee. Yes, he's the president. He has made his own pronouncement. But I'm appealing to him. This is an appeal coming from the acting leader of the opposition. That in order for us to have peace and reconciliation, please, let us have an independent somebody to chair that committee. Mr. President, please. The reasons are very clear. The reasons are very clear. Mr. Vice President, with all due respect, you are a member of the SLPP. And I'm saying, no member of any political party, either the APC or the SLPP, should be the chairman of that commission. I am making an appeal to the president. It's a direct appeal I'm making to the president. He has the right to go with the vice president. But this is an appeal I'm making to him. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, having said that, let me briefly talk about the initiative of Feed the Nation of the president, which takes us to agriculture. I am saying in this well that we must make use of the military and the police to take part in agriculture. In the past, you go to the streets of Freetown, you hardly find a military officer. You hardly. But you are younger then, you are a younger child. I'm talking about us, our days. Mr. Speaker, his days. You hardly see a military officer. You hardly see a military officer. Let them take to the farm. Let them own state farms. Let us send them there. Let them work in the farms. And they even have a team, it's a professional team that do roads maintenance in the military. What is happening with that? The engineer, what is happening with that? We are spending all this money with contractors where we have educated, qualified people here to do that job. Let us make use of that. If we do, honestly, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to feed ourselves. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I am again appealing to my colleagues over there. Let us please remove the lenses of political parties. Let us, if we want this nation to succeed, let us remove the hats of political parties. And let us do the right thing. And I say again, thank you, Honorable Tawa. Thank you, Honorable Content, for your speech here this morning. It is very nationalistic and to the point. I thank you.
I thank the acting leader of the opposition. It is now the turn of the leader of government business to wrap up the debate. To take note of the fact that I want to rise at 5 o'clock.
Mr. Speaker, you don't know me to run for debate for only 50 minutes. You talk about 2 hours, 3 hours. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, thank you all for your numerous contributions. It has been a long 5 years. Long 5 days trying to see how best we can digest the speech of the president. We tried our best to be very nationalistic. Some of us, we are very passionate about it. Some of us, we are very futuristic. Some we are pessimistic. Thank you all for your numerous contributions. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to say special thanks to you to join the president in paragraph 4. To say thank you very much for what you have done, but he actually congratulated you because of the re-elections. Mr. Speaker, I want to be reciprocal using paragraph 4 to say His Excellency the President, Democrat of Sierra Leone, the man who transformed from military rule to a civilian rule, the man who said, I will bring food and cloth from the jungle and put it on the negotiating table. And I am yearning for peace. I will make a pathway for peace in this nation. That was about the negotiation of peace at the Yamoussoukro Peace Accord. And what he did. He's a very conciliatory man. Thank you, Mr. President. Today we are enjoying democracy because he started it. So that's why people call it the father of democracy. I salute you. I thank you very much. I want to join my honorable colleague on the other side. As I said, I have tremendous respect for you. I count on you. Don't look at those who have their own agenda, but look at the spirit of the Constitution. Section 97, subsection B. You have not alienated yourself from your people. What you have done, you have aligned yourself with your people's aspiration. It's very clear in the Constitution. So admire you. I met you a long time ago at the Stadium Hostels. Since then, we have been interacting. One thing, you hold in high esteem somebody who can speak the truth. I can never be a hypocrite. You can always serve my conscience and God and give respect to people. Thank God I've passed the hands of Mr. Speaker sitting here. He knows me very well. When he sees me in a desperate mood, he knows the language that he needs to speak to me. But I know when he's desperate too. So there is no time for hypocrisy in this house. But let me join you to re-echo the voice of President Liu. In 2022, paragraph 155, Mr. Speaker, can you allow me? I will wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The next 5 minutes. My closing is about reconciliation. Mr. Speaker, before I read the voice of President Liu in paragraph 155 of the 2022 presidential speech, allow me to live to cross this space, to shake the hands of my friend on the other side, to extend the sign of reconciliation this way. With your permission. I will meet here. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I said I will wrap up. I have discussed, I have explained the language that we use in paragraph 7, the representation of women. I have quoted the Gender Empowerment Act. I I've talked about the PPRC giving powers to women. I've talked about the Public Elections Act making reference to Section 58. How we are empowered in the 5th Parliament to help President Biu to address the issue of gender parity? I don't want to go back, but in this statement of my closing remarks, I want to be very conciliatory. Paragraph 155. I will read, Mr. Speaker. You are not paying attention. So if you are not paying attention, it's not my cup of tea. It's because you have failed to listen to your leader when he's speaking. So it means you are a sinner. Mr. Speaker, President Biu's speech in the Chamber of Parliament during Tower Hill, Freetown, on Tuesday, the 10th May 2022 at 9 o'clock in the morning, AM. In conclusion, paragraph 155, page 36. You have heard a lot about my government accomplishments, but the job is far from over. Our challenges will never disappear, but together we can create new dreams and new hopes. Instead of new fears and new crises, we can step out of our past and become architects of the future. Together we can elevate our national conscience, improve the economic and physical health of our nation, and affirm the greatness of our nation. Mr. Speaker, in addition to this, let me take you to the current speech. I send of reconciliation, paragraph 63, in the 2023 presidential, AP 62, in the current presidential speech, 6.2. Let us, that's page 11, let us never take the peace and stability we currently enjoy for granted. Look around us, both on our continent and worldwide, and we witness the devastating consequences that unfold when political actors fail to resolve their differences with maturity and respect for the law. Mr. Speaker, I have decided to be very conciliatory and use the words of President Biu, because we have had a lot of aspersion and innuendos after the elections. But in the time of peace, you should consolidate peace. We had war and we had for peace. If we have peace today, it's our business to consolidate peace. The big fight we are talking about, it can only become a dream and a reality to us when there's peace. It's only peace you can talk about development. In the first half of this year, we have spent only to enhance job creation and food security 18.5 million euros in the new currency. We can only continue to achieve if we yearn for peace and national reconciliation. I have used the words of President Biu so that we can look at ourselves. The man-best inspection is the conscience, and the best judgment you can get is your committee, your conscience, and God. And the other evidence you have at night is the pillow. So let us look at ourselves, not even a dream. The pillow can never stick to you, Mr. Speaker. But let me assure you that if you serve your conscience and you serve your God, you can only be the righteous man. You can stand upright and defend any issue in the interest of any nation like Sierra Leone. We have heard so much from politicians, but questions we ask ourselves, are we sincere in what we say and are we sincere in what we do? The law is the law. Reconciliation doesn't mean you have to bastardize the rule of law. In fact, to reconcile and make it more solid, you have to do with the rule of law. Because as a nation, stand united. You should be a respecter of the rule of law. That makes you a great man in any nation. So that's where we are today. We have had the exchange from ruling government to opposition, from opposition to ruling government. I have served in all of this. I've been there, and I'm here and here. No man stands alone. But to our friends, those who think political platforms are used to destroy the beauty of a nation and the good aspirations of we Sierra-Leoneans, I use the words of Obani Nesta OM. Politics about policies is not about making enemies. Let me send these words to you from Obani. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Yes. Mr. Speaker, let us depend on policies of making our nation great. And let us rise up to the occasion to change our nation. That's what President Bill said. Let us change the trajectory. We brought in a new direction. All of these human development, all of these human capital development, from the spirit of the Constitution, is about how do we reform ourselves, our internal structure and our out-being. Both how do we think and how do we react. So it's always good for us to say we politicians in the 80s, we politicians in the 70s, those days are gone. Mr. Speaker, you experience it. So you are a living testament for a real reconciliation in Sierra Leone. I have listened to you make speeches since we started this debate. Call on our colleagues. Talk to them. Now you serve the interest of your nation. Our political parties are just a micro aspect of the macro features we have. It's only by good policies we can survive. When Nigerians are killed for rice, we are here having enough essential commodities because of good policies. Under the macroeconomic budgetary performance in 2020, I repeat, Mr. Speaker, under the macroeconomic budgetary performance in 2020, we introduced what we call QAP, Quick Action Economic Recovery Programs, to get essential commodities in the market. So, policies are geared towards shaping the lives of your people. While people are then struggling to get essential foods, we have them abundant because of good planning and policies. So let me use this words again. You can fool people sometimes, but you cannot fool them all the time. That is what we are saying. So let me just speak up. There's all of the citations here. Consistency in policy, right? President Bill has very consistent in this alone. Look at all the speeches he has made in this house, in this chamber. Consistent with the food production, consistent with agricultural production, food security. I said, Mr. Speaker, you are not here. Talking about agri-credit facility, giving to people. In the interest of allocating 80.8 billion in the whole currency, targeting 12,000 farmers in a smart price subsidy production, we are able to see what it can do. But all of this we are talking about, it can only be good for us if we are all together as Sierra-Leoneans, if we stay together. But let us believe in institutions and let us respect our institutions. We can never bastardize them and say we can reconcile. If you bastardize them, you are also bastardizing the very root of reconciliation. There is no perfect structure we have, so there is no perfect law, so there is no perfect human being. The only perfect spirit we have or being we have is God. And God is a spiritual being. You can't see it, you can't even feel it, but you can worship God. So those who are Christians, you follow the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessing be upon him. That is in fact, when you're talking about education, the hadiths in the Quran talk about education. Those who are Muslim, the only way we can transform our nation is Africa. Use the hadith to talk about education. It's by education we can talk about reconciliation. That is the backbone of our drive of reconciliation. Mr. Speaker, I am a Catholic Christian. For me, and a knight for that matter, I am a perfect and Catholic Christian. I don't compromise my faith for anything. Because I always stand tall to talk about Jesus. I want to talk about it. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me entreat you with these words. That we as Christians, if we fail to educate the nation, you fail to educate your very self because you have failed to educate people. As you fail to drag your congregation with you, you have failed to pass the message of the God, the Father. You have failed Christ. We cannot allow to fail Christ. We take our congregation with us. So our political drive, for me, politicians will depend on political holiness. What is the political holiness? So think aloud, think with your people, you suffer with your people, and find a solution for them. I will go on and on. I will go on and on. I started following the speeches of President Bio, follow the spirit of the Constitution, enhancing and praising Honorable Mohamed Bangura as a very smart Iranian. He has made his way. He's a vibrant man. I remember on several occasions he was over 98.1, challenging people, talking about Badabio, because it's politics. It's about your interest at the moment. Today he has seized the interest of the nation first. That's why you are here. So I supported him by the spirit of Constitution, Section 97. I have also gone through talking about the spirit of the Quran and the Bible. That's how we talk about the addition in education. We talk about how we move to our congregation. I will now end. By reading the word I started, by reading the paragraph I started with the first day when I opened the debate. That paragraph 63. I will end paragraph 63. Mr. Speaker, it falls upon our shoulders to safeguard this democracy, to support our citizens as we prepare the economy further and to create safe and stable atmosphere where every Slovenian can flourish, holding their heads high with pride on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, I end this one with the principles of liberty, with the principles of looking that we are so independent to be for ourselves, not to mortgage our country or ourselves to any nation, but to believe in the spirit of oneness. In 1961, we asked for freedom. And let me again, I wanted to wrap up, but this is very important, Mr. Speaker. And let me again, in taking up in 1961, we fought for our independence, and that's the time we had it. Not by violence, but using our conscience, using our might as human beings, as Slovenians. The light of the late Sir Albert Magai. I will use the same paragraph 61 to remember Slovenians about civil liberty. That it is President Bio's speech. Paragraph 61. We have long since departed from the darkness of conflict and embraced the illuminating light of freedom and democratic principles. Let this parliament, that's why I said let me end. That's why I crossed halfway the base and embraced my brother on the other side, because he has called for reconciliation. And President has called for reconciliation. But that doesn't mean we are going to compromise the principles of democracy, the principles of the rule of law. But we can still reconcile, because when we reconcile, the right is a right, and reconcile under the rule of law. Let this parliament, this beacon of hope, Mr. Speaker, continue to lead the way, exemplifying dedication to the noble task of the nation building. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let me move. Mr. Speaker, I move Safu, SO2. As I concluded, Safu, SO2. Be it resolved
that we, the members of Parliament, here assembled, wish to thank His Excellency the President for the address he so graciously delivered on the occasion of the state opening of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone in the Chamber of Parliament on Thursday, the 3rd August 2023. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
I thank the leader of government business for his motion. Honorable members, the question is that the members of Parliament here assembled have resolved to thank His Excellency the President for the address he so graciously delivered on the occasion of the state opening of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone in the Chamber of Parliament on Thursday, 3rd August 2023. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. And all those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Motion of thanks to His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, proposed by Honorable Matthew S. Newman, has been carried.
Honorable members, let me just consult with the leader for 1 second. Honorable members, as chairman of the Committee of Selection, I now wish
Announcement of sessional select committees.
Honorable members, as chair of the selection committee of this 6th Parliament, and pursuant to subsection 1 of Section 93 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, and SO 70, paragraphs 1A, B, and 13A of the Standing Orders of Parliament. I will now wish to present to you for adoption the membership of the standing committees provided for by that section of the Constitution. And with your indulgence, I will call on the honorable member from the Western area, the Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, to do us the honor of reading out the membership of the respective committees that have been proposed for your consideration. Over to you, Honorable Chawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the list of sessional committee as per the positions led by your good self as follows. Business Committee, Chairman, Honorable Matthew Sanyuma. Deputy Chairman, Honorable Bashiru Siliki. The following honorables are members of the committee. Sir Emerson Lamina, member. Ibrahim Tawa Conte, member. Nene Levy, member. Mohamed Bangoa, member. One other slot for the APC and PC by Sheba Bere, the third, member. Paran Umar Tawali, Secretary and Clerk. Standing Order Committee, Chairman, Honorable Speaker Dr. Chelno Abbas Buni. Deputy Chairman, Honorable Segebo Solomon Thomas. The following honorables are members of the committee. Bashir Siliki, member. Dixie Momo Rojas, member. Matthew Sanyuma, member. 2 slots for the APC. And PC Ali Bala Samamara, the third, member. Committee on Governance, Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. The following honorables are members of the committee. Bashir Siliki, Matthew Sanyuma, Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Sir Emerson Lamina. 2 slots for the APC. PC Aja Fatmata Mima Kadri, member. Human Rights Committee, Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables are members of the committee. Usman Indolo Moyo Geva,